Hi, boys and girls. This is Mr. Yates. In this video, we're going to be going over the lesson 11.10 assignment and giving you the answers and showing you how I figured them out. So let's go and get started. I'm noticed that a lot of you have gotten your math books and have been showing your work and doing your answers in your math book, and that's great. This is just in case you don't. It's okay if you just have a piece of paper and just copy down the questions from the book and then putting them on your lined piece of paper or just blank piece of paper, totally fine. So let's go ahead and we'll go through each one and we'll show you about how we worked. I also have put in here on the screen our King Henry died unexpectedly drinking chocolate milk chart. And the reason I have it there is because it'll come in very handy to help us convert these units of measurements today. We'll start with number one. And our first one is 300 centimeters, and it's going to equal blank meters. So let me go ahead here and I'll put 300 centimeters on my paper and I'll put equals and then put blank meters. Next thing what I'll do is I'm going to look at my King Henry chart. It is going to help me so much. So the first thing I'm looking at is I'm starting off with centimeters. So because I start off with centimeters, I'm going to match those up on my chart. Centi right there is where I'm starting. So I'm going to start with centimeters. And I'm going to be moving to meters. So because I'm moving to meters, I want to find where I'm going to be going on my chart. Meters is the unit measurement. So it's going to start right here, unit. Based on what I'm seeing, I'm going to be going from unit, or I'm going to be going from centimeters to meters. And that means that I am going to be going to the left. I'm going to go left from centimeters to meters. And I'm also going to be going, let's see here, count it out. 1, 2, 3 jumps. So I'm going to go 1. Did I say 3? I'm going to say 1, 2. So I'm going to go 1, 2 jumps to get to my next unit of measurement, which is meter that I want to convert to. So I'm going to do that right now. What I'll do is because I'm going to be going to the left, and I'm going to be going over 2 spaces. I'll write my 300 right here. Put a decimal dot so I could watch it move. It's a little bit easier to see. And I'm going to move it over. Sorry, I confused at the beginning there, but I'm going to be moving it over 2 spaces. 1, 2. And placing it between the 3 and the 0 right here. So now my decimal has moved over. And you can see it right there. That means that my new unit of measurement, meters, 300 centimeters is going to equal 3 meters. Let's go on down to number 2. On this one, I'm going to be converting 500 millimeters to blank centimeters. So I'll be writing that down. 500 millimeters equals blank centimeters. I see that I have my first unit of measurement that I know is millimeters. So what I'll do is I'll go find that on my chart. Oh, there's milli right there. So I'll go ahead and use that to see where I'm going to be starting, which is right here at millimeters. And my unit of measurement that I'm moving to is centimeters. So I'll be moving just 1 over to centimeters. And since the C and the M are close together, right next to each other actually, I'm just going to be going over 1 jump to get to centimeters. That means I'm going to be moving the decimal here just 1 space. And I'm going to be moving it to the left. I'll put my decimal here to remind myself what I'm doing. And I'll go move the decimal over 1 jump to the left. By doing that, I've changed 500 millimeters into 50 centimeters. You don't necessarily need the decimal and the 0 to write it down here. You can get rid of those when you actually write it down in your answer. Number 3 is 1 7/10 kilometers. And that'll equal blank centimeters. Let's take a look at my unit of measurement. My unit of measurement is kilometers. That I'm converting, and I'm going to be converting that into centimeters. So I'll find my kilometers on my chart, which is K for kilometers. And it looks like I'm moving down, way down to centimeters, way down the chart. And this time, because I'm starting over here at K for kilometers, I'm going to be moving to the right. So I'm going to go all the way down here to the right to get to centimeters. I'm going to count out the number of jumps I'm going to make here to see how many times I'll need to move the decimal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 total jumps to get to centimeters from kilometers. That means I'll be moving the decimal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times to the right. And I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. I'll rewrite my 1 7/10 right here. Since I'm moving my decimal to the right, looks like I'm going to need to annex some zeros to make that easier to do. Let's just add a few more. You can't add, it doesn't matter if you add too many zeros because you can always get rid of them when you actually rewrite the problem. So I put a bunch down here so I'll have plenty of space to move. Now remember, I'm going to be moving from kilometers all the way down to centimeters. So that's 5 total jumps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'll move the decimal to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'll rewrite that using some commas now. So let me put 1,000. So it looks like I'm going to have 170,000 centimeters is going to equal 1 7/10 kilometers. Let's take a look at number 4. On this one, I'm going to be writing 2 kilometers equals blank meters. I know that I'm going to be moving from kilometers, and I'm going to be moving to the right to meters. I'm also going to check and see how far that's going to be. And I'm going to go 1, 2, 3 total jumps down. So I'll be moving my decimal 3 spaces to the right. I don't have a decimal here, so I'll just add a decimal. And I'm also going to add some zeros so I can move. Remember, it doesn't matter how many you have. You can always add more if you need to. I'm going to be moving to the right 3 spaces. 1, 2, 3. So now my 2 kilometers has turned into 2,000 meters. We'll move on now to number 5. 6 centimeters is equal to blank millimeters. This time what we're going to do is look at our unit of measurement, which is centimeters right here. I'll find that on my King Henry Dye drinking chocolate milk chart. Right here, centi. Then what I'll do is I'll go ahead and look at the unit of measurement I'm moving to, which is going to be millimeters, right next door. And really all that means I need to do is I'm going to be moving to the right from centimeters to millimeters. And I'm only going to be moving just one jump over. So that means I'll take my 6 centimeters and I'll be moving it 1 jump to the right. I'll start by putting a decimal, annex a few zeros, and I'll move it 1 jump, the decimal, to the right. So now 6 centimeters equals 60 meters. Remember, I don't have to add extra zeros after the decimal if I don't need to. I can just leave those blank. Okay, we'll keep on going now to number 6. And on number 6, this time I have 238 centimeters. Oops, a little bit of a copy error. And since, as always when I make these videos, I don't have an eraser here, I should start doing that more often because I do make a lot of mistakes, I've noticed. So I'll go ahead and change this over to 238 centimeters is equal to blank meters. Now, boys and girls, I want to show you something. You actually don't even need the chart if you just remember that King Henry died unexpectedly drinking chocolate milk. You can always write here. King Henry died unexpectedly drinking chocolate milk. And now I have it ready to go when I need it. What I'll do is I'll look and see my centimeters is my unit of measurement. It's right here. I'm going to be moving to meters. Now, this is the tricky part to remember, boys and girls. This M actually stands for millimeters. If you remember, M over here stands for milli, right here. So we're not moving to the milli, we're moving to the meter. So just to remind you that when you're writing the chart by yourself, I'm just using the letters here. We're moving to the unit, which is meters, which is right here. U always stands for the unit of measurement, which is meter. So what we're going to do here, since I'm at centimeters, I'm going to look and go over to meters where I'm at. And it looks like all I'm going to do is going to move over 1, 2 decimal places to the left. So I'll do that right now. All right, my 238, right at decimal point. I'm going to be moving 2 spaces, 1, 1, 2. So I'll go 1, 2. And now I have 2 38/100ths meters is equal to 238 centimeters. Let's go on to number 7 and 8. So what I'll do next is I'll take my 2,400 millimeters is equal to blank meters. And again, I want to show you how to do this so you can write this down every time. This is great for tests when you're not allowed to have, go online and look up the King Henry chart, or anytime that you just want to remember quickly and you don't want to have to go to the time to actually look up the chart. What you can do is you can go, King Henry died unexpectedly drinking chocolate milk. Remember, this U always stands for the unit of measurement we're talking about, which is meters here. And I'm going from millimeters, so I'm going to put it down here, M for millimeters. M here is just milli, so I just remind yourself so don't get confused with meters. Then what you're going to do is you're going to be going all the way up to the unit of measurement, meters, right here. And that means that we're going to be going to the left. And it also means that we're going to be going over a couple jumps. We're going to move our decimal 1, 2, 3 times. And that's what I'll do. I'll take 2,400. I'll leave the comma off so it's a little bit easier for me to move. I'll put a decimal point at the very end. I don't think I'll need to make any changes or add any more zeros at the end because I'm moving to the left this time. So I'll go 1, 2, 3 spaces, and now I have 2 4/10 meters equals 2,400 millimeters. So we'll go ahead and we'll work on one last one for these, and then we'll go over the word problems on the other page. So number 8 is 175 millimeters is equal to blank meters. In this case, boys and girls, we're going to, let's do it one more time to remind myself, King Henry died unexpectedly drinking chocolate milk. What I'll do now is I'll take a look at my unit of measurement that I'm going to be starting with, which is millimeters. And millimeters are the M at the very end of our chart, the small, the millimeters. We're starting there. And then we're going to be moving on up to, again, the unit of measurement, which is meters, and that's in the middle here, the U. And that means we're going to be moving to the left again, and we're going to be moving 1, 2, 3 times, one more time, to the left, which I guess is just like what we did the last time. So I'm going to go ahead and get my 175 written down for the millimeters. Now, the one thing I want to notice about this, is that I'm going to be putting my decimal right here at the end, and I'm going to move 1, 2, 3 spaces. So I'm going to, and it's okay to annex zeros on the left if you need them as well too, and I think I will. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, since I have a decimal right here between the 0 and the 1, it's good to have a 0 here. You don't need this extra 0. So I'm just going to write 0 and 175 thousandths meter is equal to 175 millimeters. Now let's go on and take a look at the word problems very quickly. Get those looked at. Now, boys and girls, on this one, I'm just going to be pulling over the answer sentences so you can see how these look. On this one, and I'm going to zoom in a little more so you can see answer sentences. I'm just going to close out the line paper because I'd like you to see the answer sentences here. There we go. And let me move over one more thing, which is the answer sentences. I don't want the blanks. All right, so let's go take a look. We'll zoom in here. Now here it says on number 9, when completed, the tunnel will be 1,500 meters long. What is this length in kilometers? I want you to make sure that you use an answer sentence here, boys and girls, and this is what I'm really going to look for. I want you to tell me that the, oh, let's make a bigger word so you can actually read them. There we go. Make those bigger words. So the, oh, too big. Let's move on down to this. All right, so we'll go ahead right here. And you should be saying something like the tunnel's length is 1 5/10 km for kilometers long. Keywords here are going to be tunnel's length, km for kilometer, and long too. And that's it. You could also probably get rid of the length is long. You could probably even get rid of the long here. Since you already have the word length here, you could also say this. The tunnel's length is 1 5/10 kilometers. Either one's going to be okay. Let me go ahead and get rid of that. We'll move on down. Now the depth of the swimming pool is 8 5/10 meters. So your answer sentence is going to be, let me just make this a little smaller. The answer sentence here should be half. Oops. Let me move this up a little bit so it's a little bit bigger this time. All right. So you should say like half of the depth. And if you said of the half of the depth of the swimming pool, that's even awesomer. Is, you should have 4,250 millimeters. And in order to explain it, you just could show me your work on this, boys and girls, and show me that you first need to find out that the pool is 8,500 millimeters. You divide that by 2, and you end up with 4,250 millimeters. Let's go ahead and take a look now at our vocabulary check. You should have been writing these words in as complete answer sentences. The millimeter is an appropriate unit to measure the length of a ladybug. It's pretty small, and ladybugs are small. A kilometer is an appropriate unit to measure the distance between two cities because that's a very big unit of measurement, and you don't want to measure between two cities in millimeters because that's going to be a really lot of millimeters. It's kind of hard to understand what that really means. It's hard to visualize that many millimeters. And if you said the metric system is a decimal system of measurement, good job. We didn't actually introduce that yet, but that's the one that makes the most sense out of all the other choices. Test practice. Kaylin is reading a book. The book thickness is 25 millimeters. How many of these books would fit on a shelf that is 1 meter long? What you needed to do here, boys and girls, is you needed to remember that 1 meter is going to equal 1,000 millimeters. If you knew that, then you could take your 1,000 millimeters and you're going to divide divided by 25, which is the number, which is the thickness of the book. So how many 25 millimeter thick books will we be able to fit in 1,000 millimeters? And the answer is 40 books. Boys and girls, good job on figuring everything out and working with the answers. checking your work and showing me if you had anything that was a mistake. I'd like you to label it. I do have a little survey right next to this. I'd like you to fill this out and just let me know how you did on this, boys and girls. Thanks for taking the time to check your work. It's helping you to be better at converting units of measurement into metric system and getting you ready for 6th grade. So nice job.